I'm very curious here. You're obviously, you as an individual tends to be you. One of the things I find fascinating about you take the moment, right? You focus on just like the day, right? And you progress, right? And in your early years, you had a hard time connecting with others, but it wasn't that lack of trying. It was just, hey, I'm just still going day by day, connecting with people. When did that kind of shift and change? Were you able to find a partner, someone that you can, and was that during the first 10 years when you were working for the aerospace firm, or?
Yeah, it started there, but I would go out. I managed to be able to go out on dates. I opened myself up enough to do that, and nothing was working out, and women were just, to me, they were weird. It's, oh, I have a boyfriend. And then I meet another one. Oh, he abuses me and this and that. Well, you want to go out? No, I'm going to stay with my boyfriend because I know I can change him. Next thing I know, she's in the hospital having been beat up by her boyfriend.
Jeez, dude.
And it was like, are people crazy?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you ask about how my wife and I met. Okay, I'm glad you're sitting down. We were pen pals. She's from the Philippines.
Whoa.
And we managed to start connecting as pen pals. We were writing each other. And next thing I know, we were making phone calls. She did not have a phone at home, but she had a phone at work. So we would call each other once in a while and talk for a few minutes. And I proposed to her over the phone.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Did the pen pal start in the military, or was that just?
No. Oh, no. That was after I had been working for a while. Started when I was still at McDonnell Douglas.
What sparked the interest? Was it just someone told you that, hey, you can do this, or was it just you just gone?
Yeah, I heard about people doing it, so I figured I'll give it a try too. I've got nothing to lose. I mean, I can't find anyone interested or interesting here. I will reserve my true feelings and remarks because I'm liable to upset a lot of people. But
your spouse, can you describe her?
She is my soulmate. She is my strength. She is everything I wanted and more. We've been married over 36 years now.
Wow.
And our son, he's in his mid-30s now. And they are my reason. They are my world.
36 years.
Yeah.
Like that's not something just to skip over.
No.
People barely 3, if that,
Exactly.
36 years.
And counting. I ain't going anyplace.
Through all this, right? Through employers are being abusive and just being super demeaning, through hearing crazy stories and being next to criminals and court systems. You have a kid at this time too, and working on a family, and and she's been there, stayed through thick and thin.
She sure has.
And I mean, she's from a different world,
Yeah.
I mean, not a different world, but you get kind of where I'm coming from.
Different culture and everything. Yeah.
How long did it take for you guys to finally meet? Was it pretty short? Because I know pen paling can take some time.
About 3 months.
Oh, okay. So that's great.
I sent her a telegram saying, please call me immediately, which she did, and I proposed over the phone. I said, I love you, thank you, I'm booking my trip to the Philippines. And she said, you're coming here? I'm going, yeah. So I stayed with her and her family at their house where they lived in the Philippines, and we had a small civil wedding, and it was nice. And then when she finally came over here, we had a regular church wedding.
How's the family dynamic in the Philippines? When you went to a different country, was it what you kind of expected?
I didn't know what to expect, to be honest with you. But family is extremely important in the Philippine culture. And once you're married, that's it. My wife tells me that's why she wanted to get married in the Philippines, because they have no divorce laws. whatsoever.
Mm.
So she said, "You're stuck with me." And I said, "That's fine with me."
Yo, my wife says the same exact thing. She says the same exact thing. That's so cool. So did their family just kind of get along with you? Were they pretty excited as well?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh,
really
yeah,
cool.
I got along with everybody. It was wonderful.
And how did your family get along with them? Was it I don't know if your parents were allowed. I mean, I don't know how that dynamic worked out, but
Well, of course, my wife came over
Sure.
once her paperwork was approved to immigrate over. And we were married in April. She came in August.
yo,
Now, that's a story in itself. She came in on August 31st, 1986. That is the same day that an Air Mexico jetliner crashed in, I believe, Cerritos. Now, I was with my mom. We were on our way to the airport to pick her up when news came out that an international, all they reported was an international flight had crashed. And I'm going, oh my God. And we passed right by it on the freeway.
wait, you saw the plane?
Saw the fire and the smoke and everything. And
Holy cow!
I can't tell you the pit I had in my stomach. I was just so.
And she has no phone. There's no cell phones at this time, right?
No, she was, come to find out, she was still up in the air in
Circling. So you were just sitting there
circle.
waiting.
And I was just sitting there waiting. I'm going,
Jesus.
oh my God. I couldn't get to the airport fast enough to find out the status, but it turned out fine. She was a bit on the airsick side from being in a holding pattern all that time.
Sure.
But yeah, that was kind of some excitement I really didn't need.
Yeah, I bet.
But my parents welcomed her with open arms.
That's
There's no problem.
wow. That's so cool. I mean, this feels like everything had been in your life. It seems like there's always never had to get it your way. It feels like that was a moment where you.
This just fell into place. It was like it was meant to be.
Jeez.
And it was just, I still look back on it and wonder, how in the heck did that happen?
Man.
I mean, it was just so easy with everything.
It's almost you so glad you picked up the pen, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, back then there was only letters. There was no email or anything like that. So we had to do it the old-fashioned way.
But I feels like sorry, my last two questions here, and then we can move on. Can you describe the personality of your wife? And I'm sorry, your name.
Her name is Nisa.
Nisa. Okay.
And Nisa. Her full name is Maranissa, which people can't pronounce, and they skewer it all the time. So it's just Nisa.
Yes.
And our son his name is Sean. He's named after me and my father. And just three of us. Well, no, there's more. But that's another story. No, her parents immigrated over. So they lived with us as well, along with my mother. After my father passed away, she joined us.
Oh, it's a big family now.
It was at the time. Pretty big. Still big.
Yeah. And you said Nisa's personality?
She is very outgoing, very friendly. She doesn't take, excuse the language, she doesn't take shit from anybody. She's very strong-willed, very strong woman. That's why I said she is my strength. If it wasn't for her, I don't know where I'd be. I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I know that.
That's for sure. And your son, does he kind of pick up on you or more pick up on your?
He's more like a Nisa. Yes, he is very much like her.
But you guys all it felt right though.
It felt right.
And this is still in Anaheim, am I right?
We're still in Anaheim, yeah.
That's just like it's almost like a dream come true in a way,
It was.
Yeah.
It is. I feel so blessed. God, I feel like God was watching out for me. He said, "Okay, the time's right. We're going to do this." And I'm going, "Okay."
How can I'm gonna push a little bit, and I have a question here. How could you feel that way when everything in the world feels like it wasn't going your way, but you still say that you feel blessed? And I'm not. I agree, but in a way, I'm curious. That you feel blessed knowing that all these other things that happened to you, the situations that you've been in, but you still come out with like, man, I'm happy.
I look back on it now as learning experience.
Hmm.
I had to go through these things to become the person I am today. And yeah, it was hard. It was difficult. I can't tell you how many times I cried at night
Hmm.
in my bed. But looking back, it was all for a reason. What it is, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't question. It's just that's what happened. Let's move on.
Let's go. It's crazy because now your son's around your age, and you were turning 30 when you started working at the court system, and the next 15 years of like the journey for you. Any advice that you would give him, being in the where he's at now and where you were then?
Oh my gosh. What advice would I give? What I tell him all the time: do what makes you happy.
Hmm.
I mean, he's just going through it like gangbusters. I mean, he's a special ed teacher.
Hmm.
He's working on, believe it or not, he's working on his second master's degree. He has a master's degree in criminal justice,
Yeah.
and now he's wrapping up his master's in special education. He absolutely loves it. Doesn't want to do anything else. It's just he comes home so happy and feels fulfilled. Yeah, he has his days, but that's nothing compared to the way he feels and the fulfillment he has. And I'm just so happy.
How raising him, your father was very kind of a dominant individual. You mentioned some of the things that you struggled with, that now you know more about who you are and kind of the diagnosis of it all. Your mother is kind of some days are good, some days are bad.
Yeah.
What qualities did you take from your family and the way you raised him? You have one child; he's the only child, right? So
Yeah.
kind of, I imagine he was kind of a big part at this point.
Yes, he was. And we did everything we could to make sure that he had the childhood that we didn't have.
Hmm.
And, that I didn't have, I should say. And I just tried to give him the advice that my father imparted on me,
Mm.
and just went from there. I mean, when you're raising a kid, a lot of times you do it by the seat of your pants.
Yeah. Did your father ever get to meet him?
No,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Man, he would be proud.
Absolutely.
Jeez, just like, yeah, but did your father at least get to meet your wife?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah, they met. And it was, like I said, it was with open arms. In fact, we had cats back at the time, pets. And the one cat that we had, his name's Paddlefoot because he had huge paws. And he was an excellent judge of character. I'd bring a friend home, and he would either like them or not like them. There was one girl I brought home to meet my parents, and he just didn't even look at her. He just flipped his paw and kept walking. And I'm going, okay, what's wrong? And he was a very, very good indicator.
Animals have ways of doing that.
Exactly. Now, when I brought my wife over, by this time I had my own apartment with a friend. And when I came over to their place, she sat down, and my cat immediately jumped up on her lap.
Whoa.
There was no hesitation. I'm going, okay, we got a winner. I did the right thing.
It's just fascinating to see just kind of the story here, the way it's kind of evolving.